What's up, everybody? We are back at Dino Hills yet again for the Hangover Classic. Happy New Year. Enjoy some of these antics before we get to the course. Air time! So we're another step closer to the second big course at Dino Hills. This version is par 57, 6,000 feet. Starting off hole 1, par 3, 353 feet. I like this layout for this hole. Like all the other courses at Dino Hills, you're teeing off the mound in front of the pro shop.
Trying to break firewood and stuff, and I totally fell.
Got a little gap to shoot through. First throw of the day. Nice case of grip lock. At least my new Yuli shirt looks good. So Zach, we convinced him to play. He's never played in a tournament before. This is unsanctioned, but still fun. Justin's playing follow the leader over there. Papa G rocking the 2020 VPO, and he hit that pole. You can kind of see it. He barely. So I've got a little window. I'm going with the Bobcat. Beat in first run. And I threw it too hard. So yeah, the basket here is kind of in this little bowl. Underneath this oak tree. I like this hole a lot. I think it's a great starting hole. Really attackable. It's just limits your options off the tee, but I get out of there with a 4, first bogey of 2022. Zach keeping it clean through one hole. Hole 2, par 3, 281 feet. This is a super elevated basket. You can't see it off the, well, you can see the basket. You can't see what it is elevated on. Zach's going with an alpha here, Sublime Alpha. Little inside, there is a property line on the left. I'm going with a Passion, trying to flip it up to flat. Keep it in frame with that gap, because if you leak left or right, those cedars are about 12 feet tall, 10 or 12 feet tall. So yeah, Papa G threw it further than me, but he leaked to the right into that wall of cedars. So yeah, this is what the basket is elevated on. This is for par. Little low, and I got a wedgie. You can see the disc floating there in the side of that little corral or whatever it is. So, 2022 disc golf, not off to a great start, but at least it's an awesome course. Hole 3, par 3, 413 feet. I know for sure this hole is going to change. It's in the same part of the property, but the basket and the tee are going to change. But as is, nice open downhill hole you can kind of unleash on. Jackalope, and I gave it not enough hyzer and not enough height.
I waited until after you're released.
You almost had it.
Yeah, this course is going to be bigger and longer than the main course out here. I'm going with a Berg. A little deep. That's all right. Riding the bogey train hard. Start out this tournament. Hole 4, par 3, 121 feet. Little touchy forehand hole, ace run, birdie or die. Yeah, talking with Brandon this weekend. I think this is actually going to be the basket for hole 3, somewhere down in here. It's all up in the air. But this course is going to be awesome. He's taking his time, tinkering. But you definitely got to get out here and check it out. It is, this course is just freaking beautiful. These videos really kind of fail to showcase that. After the short one, we go to a long one, hole 5, par 4, 625 feet. Again, we've got the property line on the left side, so you don't want to go over there. Nothing but room out to the right. That's main course, hole 7. Justin going straight at it. I think that's a better play because it opens up your attack angle into the green a little more. If you're off to the right, it starts to get a little more specific what is required of you to get into the green. Yeah, definitely a big 2-shot hole, slightly uphill. Throwing the passion, and this just nose up enough it doesn't want to flip. Luckily it's a par 4. This is for 3. Trying to give it a run with my lightweight bullet. Get it close. Finally course correcting off of my first few holes there. Hole 6, another par 4, 597 feet. Got that property line on the left again. Couple of options here. You can shoot between these 2 big oak trees. This is a VIPX Underworld. Didn't quite get on it, but it got far enough to the right that I think he has a attack angle back up. Yeah, if you're fine with bringing the property line into play, I think going for the gap is the play because you stay higher up on the hill, makes your upshot a little shorter. Or if you want to play it safe, you can go around that tree and just take the risk out of the hole. I wouldn't be surprised though if that gap becomes a Mando. Trying to attack the basket and did a real bad job, honestly. I thought I put it about 5 feet short, and luckily the putt's starting to feel good. Try and get some birdies and get back down to even. Hole 7, par 3, 352 feet. It's a great lefty hole, great right-hand forehand hole. If you've got 450 of power, you can probably throw like a big backhand turnover there. Shape's pretty good for a thumber. It's a Nuke OS out of Zach. Or you can just go right up the gut. I'm kind of convinced that going up the gut is the sucker gap. I've tried it several times, both playing it backwards and forwards, and I always get tangled up in one of those trees. was a little bit of a headwind. I think I definitely went too flippy. Probably should have gone just a tick up in stability. Got lucky I'm on the edge of this stuff. I'm not in there in those cedars. Upshot felt really good. Popped it though. It was really smooth though, so there's something there. Hole 8, one of my favorite holes, par 3, 368 feet. It's up this tunnel. Those guys are putting out on the basket, and you can see it's just a long tunnel, and that tree on the right side, that branch forces you to throw low if you're going to go straight up the gut. If you're going to, S something up the fairway, you have a little bit more options, but origin at a Justin, and branches kind of take the required energy off of it to get it to S through there. I think this is that VIPX Underworld again out of Grant. I think I'm going Instinct here, my older beat up Instinct. Almost. I'm gonna get this hole. Buzz out of Zach here.
Nope, not safe at all.
Grip lock, but yeah, if my disc had made it about 30 more feet before it burned over to the right, there's a gap up there. Kind of right where my disc landed, there is some airspace to the right. Nothing special on the rest of the hole, except my dad starting to run away with it a little bit. Going into the back 9, par 3, 214 feet, a little short, uphill hole. I think 8 and 9 are maybe going to be combined at some point, and longer. Not sure. This second course is going to be, it's going to be freaking rad. But I enjoy playing every version of it. The property and the views out here are just so awesome. It's fun to soak it all in. Going with that beat up first run Bobcat again. Give it a little bit of hyzer and some height. Oh, ugh. Maybe. I thought maybe. Tap-in birdies aren't bad though. Just need a couple more of those and I can pull this round back together again. 10, par 3, 306 feet. It definitely doesn't play that long, not at all. It's a putter shot if you're going straight at it, or you can shape something like a turnover or a spike hyzer or thumber, whatever you want. I'm going MD3, and it's not great. Not terrible, but not great. I'm not getting a birdie from there. A thumber out of Zach, and it turns into a thumber roller.
Oh.
He loves it.
Okay, stop.
Until it goes into the rough.
Can't have it.
But that's alright. Justin's going to MD3.
Watch it.
Makes a decent correction off of my wind read. Threw it a little too soft. There's definitely some crosswind action that you got to try and read through this hole. I'm having to go anti-putt because of that tree branch poking in between me and the basket. Thought I was going to ring it up, but got a stroke back from my dad. Brought it down to a 2-stroke difference. Hole 11, par 3, 372 feet. I had not played this hole or any version of it. If you watched my Big Course 1.0 video, there were 13 holes. A lot of them were the backwards version of these holes. I'm going Big Z Zeus here. I get through the canopy. So lucky.
Yes. Very nice.
Messed with my abdomen though. I like strained it, or I don't know. Hurt for a couple days after that. Low thumber.
Nope.
But anyways, some of those holes are these holes backwards. But this hole was not in there before, so nice surprise walking up to this one. I think that was a cloud breaker out of Justin, I'm not sure. Halo Leopard 3. Playing smart golf, discing down, just shaping lines, trying to smooth stuff out. This is where my tee shot landed. From a little further away, my dad hit the band on his upshot. He almost threw it in. Hole 12, par 3, 247 feet. If you've seen the Big Course 1.0 video, you've seen this hole already. In classic disc golfer form, I'm going to say last time I played this hole, I two'd it, and I did not two it in the tournament. Frankly, it stunk, but you know, that's disc golf. You don't do as good every time, and that's what brings me back.
That came out of your hand so clean.
Because one of these days I'm going to put it all together and it's going to be awesome. MD3, early release, kicked it off to the right. Couple of shots later, this is where I ended up. This is where an okay tee shot should land. At least. Fluff the upshot a little bit. This is where a good tee shot would land. Or, I mean, you could just park it. But, yeah, got a 5, which ended up not costing me a lot on my card, but no fun. Hole 13, par 3, 264 feet. I feel like it plays longer than that. This is a terrific hole. I don't do a good job on it, but I wanted to just throw this hole again and again. Like, I would love to try a thumber line myself.
That was great.
I think it shapes really well for that. Forehand line wouldn't be bad. Big backhand turnover could be really fun to pull off because it does need to glide down to the right. I think a flare skip to the right isn't quite enough. Lefty, kind of sky hyzer bomb. Yeah, see, like that was a low and it still plays really well. I'm going quad breaker and early release. So you can see here I'm standing about the edge of the circle. The tee's there. You're shooting to that corner and then towards the basket. So I didn't get any more footage. It was a really cool hole. So I guess you're just going to have to go out to Dino Hills and play it. Hole 14, par 3, 153 feet. I'm not sure if this hole's going to stay in. It definitely feels like a filler hole, but I honestly don't hate it because the last hole was kind of tight and this hole's kind of open and short, and then the next hole's long, so it's a good shake-up from what's before and after it. So I don't hate it. Obviously I did a bad job, so it's not that easy, especially we had a crazy north wind. This is New Year's Day, probably around 11 o'clock, and that front rolled in at 5, so it's pretty darn windy, 20 mile an hour winds or so. You definitely don't want to be out of position. Like, I was 15 feet from the basket, but I was having to putt from chest high because the cedars. But that's my pink felon on the ground there. I cut it out, but I threw a thumber, and I think that might be my play. But anyways, we all got 3s there. Hole 15, par 4, 519 feet. This is a combo of a couple of those holes. But yeah, just look how beautiful it is. Still doesn't capture everything that there is to see out of this property. But Yeah, hole 15, this is kind of a combination of a couple holes off the big course 1.0. This is a fun hole. We had a sweet, like, right to left tailwind, so big flex shot with the Zeus.
Holy shit.
And as soon as it started to fade, the wind got under it and it zoomed to the left as it fell out of the sky.
I'll do the same thing. Oh no!
I think that's a boss that Zach keeps throwing. Really consistent, even though he doesn't quite have the arm for it. He is playing for consistency and placement shots, which there's definitely something to be said for that.
Okay,
So there's the tee. This is the gap, and the basket is past that further brush pile. The basket's just out of view from where I'm standing, but it's past that second brush pile. In fact, this shot lands on the brush pile. So really great tee shot, but put me out of position. And I'm sure this brush pile will not be here in the future, because that would have been a good 3, and instead I make my comebacker for a 4. Justin got a 3 though. Ooh, that was sweet. Hole 16, par 3, 322 feet. Finishing with a double mando about 12 feet short of the basket. Justin's got the box. He is going with a Castoplast, I want to say stall. It's basically their Firebird FD3 Raptor mold.
Is that the Falk?
I think he was going for the consistency play there. Didn't quite execute to what he was looking for, but I think that's what he was going for with that disc choice. I'm going with the Passion. Oh, and I got a little bit of turn out of it, but not quite enough. I was playing the aggressive play, though. I was trying to put it right in striking distance of the Mando. Maybe get a bonus birdie, but put myself in an easy position for a 3. And I ended up in those bushes just to the left of the Mando. Kind of where that disc landed.
I didn't miss it.
But further to the left. So this is actually my 3rd throw. I had to scramble just to get to here. Disappointing 4. Didn't lose a stroke to the card, but disappointing 4. 3 strokes back with 2 holes to play. Hole 17, par 3, 226 feet. You know, they were talking about making this a Mando underneath the tunnel. That probably would cause a lot of backups, honestly. Over the top is, unless the wind is really, really, really crazy or unfavorable, I think over the top is the play. That's what everyone on the card did. That disc actually got caught about 30 feet in the air, which I was shocked. I'm going up the gut with my instinct. Laser beam, just not up the gap. Even my dad is going over the top. So I think over the top is the play, for sure. Because it's not a very long hole.
Here you see the majestic regal disc golfer with their carts struggling through the creek.
All jokes aside, this course is super cart friendly. This is the only spot that having a cart is worse than having a backpack. There's my disc. I got kind of lucky to stay in play. Cannot see the basket. I mean, the camera angle, obviously you can't see the basket, but even standing where I'm standing, you can't see the basket. I pretty much parked it and didn't have someone clear, and learned why you always have people clear the chains. Hole 18, par 3, 332 feet. It's a fun finishing hole. Good lefty hole, good forehand hole, good backhand turnover hole. Darn good. You're playing to the base of the hill, kind of by regular course 18s. Basket. Going with that beat-in instinct again. Honestly, I think the height was perfect. I just turned it over a little too much, rolled my wrist. I'm definitely working out some off-axis torque issues. This little cedar grove ends up there to the right, so I made it past that before it dove off into the rough, but I had a tough go of it. So yeah, there's the basket, center of the screen. See, I'm having to forehand a felon just to kind of get through the rough and back onto the fairway, and I'm barely past my dad's tee shot. He took a much better line. Yeah, so all in all, 2022 Hangover Classic was a fantastic tournament. I will probably follow it around for a couple years. Here's our little setup. Pay a little extra to camp in the barn. Yeah, definitely check out Dino Hills and all it has to offer. It's got camping, putt-putt, broken-in 18-hole course, and the new one as it works towards its final version. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.